All right, welcome to the new episode of Bootstrapping Your Dreams Show. I'm your host Manoj Agarwal, and today we'll be talking to Steve Sims, who officially becomes the most frequent guest on this podcast now. If you haven't known of or heard of Steve, so he is the CEO of Bluefish, which is a luxury concierge service that provides once in a lifetime experience for its ultra exclusive clientele. So Steve has worked with some of the world's most influential people, including Sir Richard Branson, Elton John, Elon Musk, and many more. Real life wizard of Oz, that's what people call him. He has left a mark with his best-selling book, Bluefishing: The Art of Making Things Happen, and awe-inspiring speeches at Fortune 500 companies, the Pentagon, and Harvard twice. He has done stupidly unimaginable things like sending people to the Titanic and getting people married by the Pope, and organizing a private dinner of six at the feet of Michelangelo's David while being serenaded by Andrea Bocelli. He has been featured in over 30 TV shows, over 60 major publications. Steve founded Bluefish in 1996, and in 2003, Bluefish partnered with MBNA to launch its own credit card. In 2004, Bluefish was named the official concierge of LA and New York Fashion Weeks, and Bluefish Concierge was the official concierge for the Kentucky Derby from 2005 to 2007. So this is just a very small list of the things that Steve has done. Welcome, Steve. So excited to have you.
I hate bios. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, but you have to sit here and you have to hear those kind of stuff, and that's in the past. I always think is what you do in the future that's more important.
That's true. That's true. Well, I mean, it's always a good way to tell people who you are because the first time I talked to you, looking at you, it's very difficult to like imagine that you would have done these things. So it's always good to tell people what you're all about. So absolutely, it's good to talk about the future, but uh, let's talk about the present first. So you just recently released a new book called Go for Stupid, and your previous book Bluefishing was a huge success. So can you tell us what is the essence of these two books, especially Go for Stupid?
Yeah. So you mentioned my past. My past was that I ended up becoming this Mister Fixer, this go-getter for the rich and predominantly unfamous. I would only say that 10% of my the rest of them own things like countries. But hugely wealthy, hugely powerful. Blue, because I had been offered a book deal and I thought, yeah, and I didn't take it seriously. And the beautiful thing is when you don't take things seriously, you get to have fun with things and you do it the way you want to do it. You play the game you want to play. You write the rules. So I did that with Bluefishing, and I thought no one's going to touch it with a barge pole. It's too simple. It's too basic. Everybody already knows this shit.
Mm,
And I was stunned.
mm,
I was stunned that people don't stick to the basics.
yeah.
And then I started teaching, training, coaching, speaking all over the planet. And I'm thinking, this is crazy. Why am I in this crap? And I'm talking to generals, I'm talking to CEOs, I'm talking to entrepreneurs, gurus of the world, influence, impact leaders. And they're like, oh, I ignored that. Oh, I went past, I overlooked that. So this launched me into one career, and I openly said, I'm never writing another book. That was fun, but I don't want to do it again. And then this thing called COVID came across. And I very aggravated. We were at a time where all of humanity should have connected with each other, with each people. What did we start doing? We started canceling each other.
Mhm.
And we started going into the gotcha society. And if I can find out something you said 23 years ago, put it up on Instagram. I'm going to do it. And I got really angry about it. And I noticed that the problem wasn't with us today, because we've always been that bad. We've always been that horrible. We've always been noisy and poor, stupid people, noisiest of the planet. They have an opinion without having a bank balance. And that's the dumb thing that I found today. The danger with today is that we got media stronger and faster. If someone does something in Korea, we know about it 2 seconds. Okay. But today we're getting a lot of people with nothing else to do in their life than pick up their phone, throw hatred, throw fake news, and to go on a rant to try and destroy people's careers without actually deciding to do anything for themselves. So Go for Stupid was trying to get people the way they communicated, changed each other. I want to support people. I want to help people grow. If I don't know what to do to help you, I make the coffee while we find someone that does. I don't think that's right. But today, we do it like it's a bloody Olympic sport.
Mm-hmm. So you brought up a very good point. Like a lot of people, they judge other people, or they get into cancel culture while not having done anything themselves. So is it primarily coming from people who don't understand the effort it takes to even get something done? Like is that sort of the common theme that you have seen in your experience?
Yeah, basically 85% of the planet work for that 15%. But that 85% is really bloody noisy. And the amount of times that, we, as you say, judge a book by the cover. You judged me, before we'd really got to know each other. Fine by that, because I don't want to be loved by everyone. I absolutely do not. So I continue my voice. I guarantee you, in the few minutes we've had this podcast, there's probably people and try and cancel me. Knock yourself out. Enjoy it. I don't understand why that's someone's direction. So I think today there's a lot of ignorance. I think today you see, it's easier for me to sit there and go, Manoj, you're an idiot. You're an immigrant. Why should I listen to you? You got to go back to where you came from. I can say all of those things because it's easier than actually trying to become. And I think that's what people like to do today. They like to hide behind the euphoria of hatred rather than step in front of it and actually become the solution they want to see.
Yeah. I think it's a way to get their validation, I guess, in a way, for whatever lack they are experiencing in their life. But moving beyond that, again, even in your first book, which was hugely impactful on me and many other people, um, and you talk about a lot of these experiences that you've had, which most people say it's not even possible to book an entire museum at the feet of David, which is one of the most like well-known sculptures or pieces of art. How does your mind even work to conceive of that idea and say, oh, maybe I should try that? Like, what is that process like in your mind when you think of something, that nobody has done, and say, hey, let's try to do that?
Well, the latter part of your statement there started to make the request intimidating. But let's change. If I said to you, hey, Manoj, we've known each other for years. If I said to you, hey, Manoj, I saw what you were trying to do and it looks impossible, but hey, let's do it. Let's attack it. Let's make the impossible impossible. Working like that, you actually start getting very feisty, and you start getting very tense, very violent and forceful. And all of those things are not there to assist creation. But if I said to you, hey, Manoj, I saw you trying to do that thing. Let's make it stupid. Let's go for a ridiculous goal. What's the stupidest out, possibly dream of that journey. And let's go for that. Now, when I start talking to you like that, you start smiling. Your childlike neurons, and I'm sure there's a doctor out there that can go, well, actually, you just activated this bit of your brain. But start to gamify, have fun with it, your body changes and you become an inquisitive 5-year-old. Now, a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, they don't recognize impossible. They don't see it. So for them, they vision play. You've got today if you visioned, dreamed, and played. So I've worked with some amazing people, and I've noticed that every time there's a problem, rather than trying to bash through the wall of whether or not it can be achieved, they is there a problem? Let's dress it up in pink and do something about it. You know, it was always that kind of thing. There's famous movies of Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was working out, and one of the tactics he used to use was he used to dress up and to get himself out of his body and headspace. I'm not lifting this anymore. Superhero me is. And he would gamify himself. And there's footage of him actually doing that. And that's because he knew the power of that child creativity in order to get where he wanted to be.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, this is exactly the kind of mindset that a lot of people don't have. And they get, when they come into your world or they read your book, they get that. And I got it. You know, it was like a light bulb that went into my mind. But the key is that what you do is like, you actually not even think about yourself, but you also think about the person you are doing it for. And, you know, and you then say, hey, what will make them a child? And that is another layer of complexity, right? Like, one can say, hey, I have this dream, you know, maybe it's stupid, but I'll go for it. But it's another thing to say, hey, let me talk to you and see what will your childlike dream be like. So maybe shed some light on that. Like, how do you read that in other person and then say, okay, you know, this is exactly what you need at this moment?
The sad what we want. I'm not pick on you for this kind of example, but you could speak to your best mate and go, hey, if you had $1 billion, what would you want to do today? And they will give you a response that's either comical or funny or flattering or exotic. It is. They won't actually tell you what their core dream is. They'll go, oh, I want to buy my school a new football pitch, or I want to get Elton John to come over to my barbecue tonight. But in 6 months' time, what's really important to them is forming a charity, sorting mum's house, painting their neighbor's front yard, you know, a house because they can't afford to do it. Stuff that's not very exciting, but it's important to them. And today we're actually embarrassed about it. Nobody looks at each other in the eye and says, hey, if you could do anything tomorrow, what would it be?
Yeah.
Garden and do this. And then they don't do it. So they're actually scared. So when people come to me, they may want to sing with Elton. They may want to perform with their favorite rock star. They may want to close down a museum, but they're too restricted in today's world that they've already put you hear someone say, I'd like to do that, but it's impossible. Who do I know? Why would they ever? They will tell you what they want in 1 second, but then spend the next 5 minutes telling you why it's not possible. We talk ourselves out. I believe we're an army, you know, and Manoj, you're a perfect example. I knew you from being a very quiet character into the AI lecturer, university leading powerhouse that you are now. I knew you beforehand. right?
Mm.
And something clicked on you where you went, hang on a minute, I can. And
Yeah.
Jay Abraham always better than IQ. But if you can actually look at yourself and get your, I mean, and I will pick on you for this example, but me, do you remember when you used to walk into a room and suddenly think to yourself, I'm the dumbest person in here. I'm the
Yeah.
least successful person in here. I'm the poorest person in here. I'm the person in here. We actually limit ourselves, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and I remember also being in some rooms going, "Whoa, these guys are all really successful," only to find out they were just as messed up as me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not until you suddenly start looking at it, and it's almost like the Matrix. You know, you take the blue pill or the red pill, I don't know which one it is, but you suddenly see through it and you go, hang on a minute. I deserve one conversation that everybody needs to have is with themselves.
Mm.
Now, walk into that room, it's not us that says that we're not good enough. It's that little devil on our shoulder. That the whispers in our ear and goes, Manoush, don't say anything. You'll sound stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We tell ourselves that. We put a picture up on Instagram and then we go, oh, but I look fat in there. Oh, my hair wasn't right. Oh my God, I've got a funny voice. I don't sound good. All of have a conversation with yourself and go, right, everyone, we are going to achieve this. We are going to do this.
Yeah.
And then you achieve it, you suddenly don't get the doubt. I literally feel as though there's nothing in the planet I couldn't achieve.
Yeah.
Nothing. And there's a lot of you out there going, well, that's arrogant. Gives a fuck. I can do anything that I put my mind to it while you're sitting at home in your armchair moaning that you haven't even tried. That's the main thing. Try, fail, become educated, do it again, become experienced, repeat it, and it will. That's the stepping stones.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that.
Yeah. I think that's so deep and that's so profound. And I remember the first conversation I had with you was along the same lines, and I asked you like, why is it that you are able to do it? And I think your answer was because you said you were stupid, like you did not care what other people thought of you. And I think it comes back to our initial conversation about cancel culture and all that we are scared of what people are going to think about us, and that's why we don't make the first effort or take the first step. So how do you like, take, for example, for me, like I used to be like that, very very aware of what people used to think about me, and I don't anymore. So how do you develop that mindset that says, hey, whoever you are all, you belong here because you have something of substance. Everybody has something of, every cloud has a silver lining. So how do you develop that mindset, or did you have it naturally, or when you work with other people and help them develop a mindset, like what do you do with that?
There's quite a lot there in that question. So let's try and unpack it. Your mind is a muscle, and that muscle needs to be able to lift heavier, run faster, endure more. You need to exercise it. So you need to exercise your mind, reading books, watching documentaries, listening to podcasts. All of those things are exercising your mind. Okay. And then what you need to, I'll give you an example. Have you ever gone to, I don't know, a garage, a parking lot or a car dealership, and you're walking through the dealership and you see a car and it's pastel yellow, or it's, whatever it is, it's a strange color. And you think, that is a weird ass color. I haven't seen that color before. When you're driving home, what's the only color you can see on the road?
The yellow color.
It's that yellow color. I remember when I came over here to California, I wanted to buy a truck, and I went down to the dealership, and they had the truck that I wanted with everything I wanted on it, but it was white. And I thought to myself, a white truck? Do I really want that? Who has a white truck? Then I drove down the road, and everyone had a white truck. Okay. It's opened to seeing things. It's the only thing it can see. If it is trained to recognize negativity and pain and distress and concern, what's it gonna see? But if you can train your mind to different people's ideas, different people's values, different people's techniques, tactics, hacks, vision, if you suddenly start seeing that, what's the only thing you're going to see tomorrow? Opportunity. So you've got to exercise it. Listen to different music you've never listened to. Watch bio. Listen to, read all books, listen to audiobooks, whatever. But realize your brain acts on what the eyes can see. So if you can teach it to see opportunity, positivity, I'll give you another example. There's a great man. He died. The gentleman's name is Dr. Sean Stevenson. And Sean always used to say, no matter what happened to him, and this is a guy on a wheelchair, not in, he was always particular to say that, on a wheelchair, and if he coughed badly, physically would break a rib. Okay, that's how bad things were. His body, he should have died, according to the doctor. Because he passed away, I think it was 3 years ago now. And anything that ever happened to him, no matter how horrible, poor fella had some shit going on, anything that ever happened to him, he would turn around and say, hey, I always ask myself, was this done to me or was it done for me? And the second you actually look at framing it, you know, I just lost that relationship. Well, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Real. Well, communication on what you did wrong. I've lost deals. I've got sued. I've lost money. I've lost relationships. And all of those things have educated me to not replicate those again. So I think I'm aware that just like your body, your mind is a muscle and it will react to what you feed it.
Yeah. No, that's great. So exercising that muscle takes time, takes effort, and it also takes some thick skin to ignore people's people laughing at you or criticizing you or what have you. So now you also have a way to get people's attention. Like you have built such a good brand for yourself. You have a media company, and you also look at unique ways of, as you said, people how they think, and incorporate all that into branding, into marketing, into tangible things on getting attention. You're really, really, really good at getting people's attention. So can you share with us any like tips or tricks that you use to get people's attention when it is important? For example, one of the things that you do is take people to prison, and it's for a great cause, but the way that you present it is, hey, I'm going to prison, and everybody's like, what happened? Like what where did you break into or something like that. But it's a great way that you take something and then you present it in a way that grabs people's attention. So what is your secret there?
Clarity and brevity. You see, we're in a really noisy world today. And in that noisy world, you can't gain attention by being noisier, because you'll get tired real quick. And a lovely woman that I love, Sally Hogshead, she always is better than better. One's over going to do this for the advertising, do this over here with clarity. When I work as a client, the first thing I do is I get them naked, and not literally, but in that digital state. And that's where people go wrong. Say, for argument's sake, you want to start a car dealership tomorrow, or you want to become a dentist, or you want to become a gardener, or you want to become an okay. The first thing you do is look at all of your competition and then replicate it. Every car dealership ends up looking like every other car dealership. Every dentist looks like every dentist. Every plumber looks like every plumber. But we're all individual until that time we become copy. Gone, hey, well, I'm ugly, I'm loud. These are all unique things to me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be it. So I'm always very clear. Like we said about the prison, I will literally just put down on Facebook, if you can't get hold of me tomorrow, it's because I'm in prison. And I lots of people coming to me, you need me to look after the family. I had some haters going, I knew it. I knew all along you were a scam. I had no doubt whatsoever. And it just makes me laugh. It really does make me giggle, because the downside is you should to attention to those that matter. If I say something on, I don't know, Instagram tomorrow, and I get a lot of hatred, okay, and sometimes it happens, I won't care. I won't care. But if I get Manoj go, Steve, this sound, or but it's sounding, violent, vicious, racist, whatever, then I'm going to go, really? You got that out of that? And I'll listen to you. You see, the point is, too many people spend too much time listening to people that don't matter. When you know people that matter to you, then pay attention. If Jay texts me and go, Steve, your marketing sucks, I'm going to listen to Jay. But if some guy flipping me burgers at the drive-thru at McDonald's tonight says, oh, your marketing sucks, maybe I'm not going to listen to that guru. So, don't always try to listen to everyone else. You say about thick skin, I'm quite a sensitive guy. I may not come across like it, but I listen to those that matter. And the deciding factor is to control what matters in your life and what is just noise.
Yeah. That's a big distinction, because a lot of people cannot make that difference. Cannot understand that difference. Now, you talk a lot about mistakes, and you say mistakes are basically our friends, where you get to learn what works, what doesn't work. What are some of the mistakes that you have made in your life that made?
Jeepers.
Yeah.
Today or over the last 10 years?
Well, the ones that you want to share.
Yeah, there's been so many. I did a deal with a car company called Ferrari. And I have always, throughout my life, since a kid, worn black T-shirts and ridden around on motorbikes. Forever. And then I got this deal and I thought, shit. And actually someone at an event said, oh, and I went, yeah, I'm doing this in Monaco with Ferrari and the Sultan of Brunei and loads of Hollywood people and richest people in the planet. And I went, what do you mean am I going like, you're going to dress up like that and go to that party? Now, here's the thing. I already had the deal. It was my event. Yet I was now listening to a guy that wasn't even invited. And what did I do? I listened to, went out and I bought a bloody great big watch, and I bought a tailor-made suit, and I bought my first ever vintage Ferrari. And all of it. And I came back from the event and I realized I had sold out. I had turned up at an event I should have been at, you know, or I should have been at as me.
Mhm.
It taught me very early too valuable. You're way too much of an asset to sell yourself out on someone else's noise. So literally, I came back, I sold the car, got rid of the suits, never wore them again, sold the watch, never wore it, and I went back to being the kid on the black t-shirt and on a motorbike. Never replace what makes you. And I've learned so many lessons about who I pay attention to, where I pay enthusiasm to, where I focus my energy on. And I'm a great believer on your ROE. Now, everyone knows ROI is return on investment. I focus on an ROE, return on effort into this. Am I happy? Am I rejuvenated? Am I successful? Am I well? What do I get? What is my feedback rather than my ROI? ROI is just one metrics. You put $10 in, you make 12. That's 20%. That's your ROI. But an ROE, so many different. So I make mistakes. Literally made one this morning on a contract I sent out. Luckily caught it, and it was overseas, so they hadn't read it in time. And I was able to go, hey, in case you saw that, I'm voiding that because I made a mistake. This was the paragraph that mistake was in, and that paragraph for this paragraph. Let me know, and I'll wake up in the morning and find out if they confirm. But I noticed it this morning, so constantly making mistakes.
Awesome. All right, great. And one thing also, I want to talk to you about mentors, because I know you have a lot of great mentors, and you mentor other people. You've mentored me and many other people. So what are some of the things that you have learned from your mentors? Like, what is the importance of coaches and mentors in your life?
Well, the first importance is you got to get one. And the funny thing is, I literally have just taken on 3. And it's a weird thing, because if you're building a house, you need someone to construct the walls. You need someone to paint the walls. You need someone to put the ceiling on the walls. You need to plug the flooring. And it's never the same person. And 9 times out of 10, you need someone to oversee this construction to make sure it's actually going in the same path. You don't want a roof built that's massive to a small house, tune with it. So you need someone to oversee that construction. You are the house. Now, like all entrepreneurs, we think we can do everything ourselves. Okay? And a lot of the time we can, but we can do way more. And that was the first thing I noticed. When I've got people around me, my mentors, Ari Meisel, Joe Polish, Jason Gaynard, J.A. Qasim Aslam, all of these people, I surround myself with really people. Recently, I've just taken on 3 more mentors that you'll be hearing about later on. I took on, I've been with Roland and Ryan for a while, and now I've just taken on Damon John. So I'm constantly trying to push myself by surrounding myself with people who are therefore more educated than me and therefore greatest visionaries than me. So I want to not stop growing. And for that reason, I have to surround myself with push me and challenge me to become uncomfortable and grow.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I think that's another thing I've learned from you is like never stop growing, because if you're not growing, you're basically dead.
Dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's great. Well, thank you so much, Steve, for another fun, entertaining conversation. Now, can you tell us if people want to get in touch with you, how can they connect with you? How can they buy your books? What is the easiest way to get to you?
Steve D. Sims. There's one M in Sims and D for dashing in the middle there. So stevedsims.com. You can find out about the book and everything else I'm up to, speakeasies, training, coaching, media, whatever. Or Steve D. Sims, anywhere you consume your media. LinkedIn, Instagram, anywhere you like. Throw in Steve D. Sims and I'll pop up.
Awesome. Great. We'll put those links in the show notes. Thank you so much.
Cheers, pal.
Thank you. Thank you.